welcome back to our press conferences today. This is our second session. We have UCLA here with head coach John Speraw, student athletes Alex Knight, Cooper Robinson, and Andrew Rowan. And coach, if we can have an opening statement on the championships, please.
Great to be back. Chance to play on the last day is always what you play for, and it's exciting to walk out on that court and have this opportunity. We know it's going to be a great match against a great team, and it's going to be in a very loud, hostile environment. So we'll be ready, and we'll use this day to prepare, and we'll come out and compete as hard as we can, leave it all out on the floor.
Coach, two kind of housekeeping questions before we delve into the match. The first, in terms of player availability, is there any changes in terms of players who were available because of injuries from the semifinals to the finals?
We won't know until tomorrow. So, some of the guys, well, Grant in particular, the swelling's really gone down, so we'll just have to see if he can take some jumps tomorrow and see what'll happen. But yeah, well, game time decision.
Yeah. And then, obviously, comment on this, keep your cards to the chest, but I'm dubbing this the J.R. Norris question. Any lineup changes from the semifinals to finals?
No, and unfortunately, JR will be in the stands and can't come down, although I'm sure he would like to,
Yeah. And looking at the match now itself, you played Long Beach twice this season. What do you think was the biggest thing that stood out to Long Beach in those matches, and then just getting an opportunity to watch them in person this week?
Just the diversity of depth and opportunities for them to attack the ball in different ways. One of the best teams in the country, if not the best, at coming down the middle of the court a bit quick. Some real experience. Godbold, Saponis, Torrey. Torrey really affects the match both from the service line and at the net. And so you just have a really experienced team with a lot of different weapons and the ability to set a lot of different guys in a variety of circumstances.
John, you guys and them are sort of there's not a lot of sports where the two teams play each other so regularly, so deep into the season. And I know you guys have talked about how it's sort of building Southern California volleyball culture, that you guys still do the home and home during the regular season. But I'm curious about emotionally what that's like for you and, for you guys to kind of keep running into each other. I mean, you get sick of it a little bit. It's an interesting dynamic. Obviously, he's national team coach, then you're the national team coach. You got some of your players, he had some of your players. So what's that kind of like? And is it of course it's Long Beach again, or we'd rather see someone else at this point? Or how do you just sort of feel about it emotionally, I guess?
Yeah. I guess if I think longitudinally over the course of my UCLA career, even going back to when I was a player, there seems to be teams you run into a lot. And when we were all in the MPSF, you'd play them twice in the regular season, in the playoffs, and sometimes again in the final. So I think we're used to playing the teams that are at the top 4 times a year. So I don't think that's really all that unusual. Maybe the fact that we set up a home and home for multiple years, it makes that a reality still, even though they're now in the Big West. And listen, they do a great job, and there's programs out there that do good jobs that we run into more often than not. And so that's certainly the case with Long Beach.
Andrew, looking at your offense, when you're playing a team like Long Beach State that's really good at blocking, obviously you've played great blocking teams before, you go up against one in practice every day, but how does that change you as a setter in terms of your game planning, how you set the ball, knowing that you're going to have a really good blocking team on the other side?
I think it does and it doesn't at the same time, because there's definitely guys you want to target and go at, but at the same time you want to run your offense and let your hitters do what they can do. So just because they have Torrey in the middle doesn't mean I won't be setting Merrick, that type of thing.
At the LA Times, Alex, yesterday you guys got to watch their match after yours. Obviously, the crowd was electric. I'm sure you guys will have a lot of fans here tomorrow as well. Just what are you anticipating from the crowd standpoint, and how are you guys kind of preparing for that? Make sure you communicate well, but also kind of feed off whatever energy you can get.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, they have a lot of good fans, and I think it's super fun for us because we've been in this environment my entire career. Every time someone plays us, the fans come out and they get super rowdy. So it's definitely not the first time we've been in this position, but honestly, I'm super excited because it's my last college game. So to have all the fans be there, I'm super excited, even if it's against us. I think it feeds our team, and I think it makes us more excited to go out there and compete.
Cooper, who is the X factor in the match tomorrow?
That's a tough question. I mean, I think anyone in our team, and I think we know who we're going against. So we're looking to stop Varga. We're looking to stop Gobbold and Shaponis, and I think for us, we can have anyone step up, even off the bench. It doesn't really matter. We're so deep and talented, and it shows every game. So it could be anyone.
See, once you thought about it, it was
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Two-part question here. First, for the players. Coach Knight in his post-match news conference was talking about this could be one of those matches where there's a lot of adjustments. And I want to ask, for players, when you are making those adjustments on the fly, how do you mentally go about kind of preparing to, something was in the game plan, but then instantaneously you have to change it and do this new tactic?
Yeah, I think it's nothing new. We've done it all year. I mean, teams have to change the way they play to beat us. So we've had to make tactical adjustments throughout the entire season. So I think it's just trusting the coaching staff and the game plan, and obviously they make adjustments throughout the match. So trusting their eye and what they see, and then just executing on our side, focusing on what we can control, and that's all we got to focus on for tomorrow.
And then, Coach, I want to ask you, when you're going up against a coach like Allan, do you almost feel it's like a chess match, and do you look forward to those types of matches, kind of the the coach on coach matchup?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of times during the year when you're making moves and other coaches are making moves, and there's a lot of very good coaches in the United States right now, and so I think that goes for the MPSF and the Big West. So he's used to that, and I'm used to that, and we've done this a long time. I'd be curious how many times we played against each other over the years. I mean, how many years has he been coaching now? He's been coaching 20 plus, and I have now been too. So yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities to make some tactical adjustments against one another.
John, I'm kind of curious. We're sort of sitting in here with Grand Canyon last night, and it's like it's such a good team, but they sort of know it's kind of baked into the way it is right now. It's like you guys are going to host, and then Long Beach is going to host. Oh, yeah. And I'm curious for you, as the sport is growing, which we've seen that it is. Do you like that you have the host sites that are sort of a couple of the top teams because of the fan draw? Would you like to see, a big neutral site somewhere in between? Like, what do you think is sort of the best way for that to play out going forward as the sport is drawing more schools and fans?
That's something I think that would be an interesting conversation with administration about what the best move is and what are the lessons you can take from. I mean, these conversations are going on right now with women's basketball too, right? Like, when do you go from being at a host institution to a neutral site? I think they're still, as big as women's basketball got this year, they're still favoring being on a host site. Yeah. I'm sorry, a local site, a university site. So my guess is that's still the way to go for us for quite some time. I do think that there are probably some other teams there that will start bidding. I did talk to Worley about that. He's got a great arena. And so at some point, I'm not sure. I mean, this is an undertaking that you need to ask your administration to do. At UCLA, we do this a lot. Like, we have employed positions that do events. So we bid every single time. And because we have a large arena, we're going to do it every single time. I think we get it once every 4 or 5 years when those bid cycles come out, because we just do our guys do a great job. Yes. UCLA does a really wonderful job, and I've seen a lot of different places and how the job gets done, and there's some places that do a very good job, and UCLA is one of them. But there's other opportunities out there for other universities too.
Question for Cooper and Andrew, and it's about serving. So Alex, you more than welcome to also answer as well. But when you're going across the court, you're facing a libero like Mason Briggs, who's really good at passing. Does that change your mindset at all, serving, in terms of where he's on the court trying to avoid those areas, or do you kind of keep going with your game plan, hit your spots, and it doesn't change?
Obviously, you don't want to put it in a guy like Mason's lap. because he'll do something good with the ball majority of the time. So I think it's kind of just playing your odds. And, if your best serve is to the area where Mason's at and you're ripping it that night, maybe you go for it. But I think there's definitely a conscious decision to stay away from it.
I have the same thing to say. Just stay away from Mason and hit your best serve. It's kind of the plan.
Alex, are you really good friends with anybody on the Long Beach State team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've played with them for a long time. I've played with Mason on the USA team. I played with Clark growing up. So I've known them for a long time, and it's super fun. We talked at the banquet about this, just how long we've played against each other and with each other. So this is like a super cool chance to play each other one more time in the United States. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun matchup. It always has been a fun matchup. So one last chance to play against them is super fun.
Any text messages yesterday, today?
Not yet. We're waiting for tomorrow night. So after the match for sure. Yeah.
John, Alex mentioned his last match. This group of seniors is obviously very successful, and they've done a lot. Just what have they meant to you and to this program as they prepare to move on?
Well, I mean, I think you're going to step back after tomorrow and really have a good idea how to summarize all that even more. But, I mean, already they've made a tremendous impact on the program. It took a long time for us to get back and win one. And that was a hard task, and they accomplished that. And here they have another opportunity. So I think they should be very proud of what they've done for the program. They got nothing left to prove. They just go out there and play.
And then final question for me, once again, it's media day, so you get one off-the-wall question. If you go to Disneyland, what's the best part about it? Is it the food, the ride, or meeting characters?
Star Wars Land, whatever that's called. That's my favorite part.
There's a funnel cake with strawberries and powdered sugar. That's my favorite.
Go rides.
Yeah. Coach, I'm going to assume with the girls, it's meeting the princesses.
Yeah, it was a very exciting time. We met the princesses, lots of photos that I hope you don't get a hold of. And for me, I'd never been. We went recently, and I hadn't been in a long time. And the Star Wars place is unbelievable. That's obviously we were with a group of friends, and they had a son, so it was me and the dad and the son that went and did a couple rides over there. Because we're not there yet with Brooklyn and Haley, and probably never will be, actually, in the Star Wars area. I prefer Soaring, the one in California Adventure, the Soaring one. And this.
Soaring over California or soaring over the world?
I like the Soaring over the world that I saw recently, but Soaring California, when you were going over the orange groves and stuff like that, was incredible. Orange spray, unbelievable. Yeah. All right.
What's your favorite ride?
Space Mountain.
Oh, classic.
Nice.
Okay. All right, we good?
We can keep going with Disney
I know,
questions.
I know,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
We're at our time limit. So is there any more volleyball-related questions? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.